Excited to be with you for another edition of SVG's On the Pitch series. We're taking you around the world of in-venue video production and presentation in the world of Major League Soccer. And we are pleased now to be joined by a new friend of SVG, Jeremy Benjamin. He is the specialist for game presentation, events, and experience for Vancouver Whitecaps FC. Jeremy, thank you so much for taking the time. Wonderful to see you. Hope you and everyone at the club are doing okay right now.
Oh, thanks, Brandon. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me. I can't wait to get going on our conversation. And I know we're going to have a lot to talk about, especially during this crazy year.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's been fascinating, certainly on, when we talk to the baseball teams and the basketball teams, it's fascinating talking to the Canadian clubs because for the most part, you aren't allowed to play your games there right now. The NHL teams were a bit of an exception when we talked to them. But on your side, your club is currently not playing their home games at their traditional home stadium, BC Place there in Vancouver, but you're instead playing your home games at Rio Tinto Stadium in Sandy, Utah, which is, of course, just south of Salt Lake City and the home stadium for Real Salt Lake. So you are not in Salt Lake. You are in Vancouver right now. So what's it like
Correct.
for you handling game presentation when you're not even in the in the town that the games are taking place in? What's that like?
No, it's quite funny you ask. This is I think if you think about it, our third stadium, our third home stadium. Obviously, the Orlando bubble was one, and then we played out of Portland the end of last season, and now we're playing out of Salt Lake. So I've gone pretty used to producing in, I guess, other stadiums, but it is quite strange. And I think one of the best things is the people that we're working with are incredibly gifted at what they do. And the MLS presentation family is, they're always there for you. And I've only worked with some unreal people from Portland to Salt Lake. But we just try to make it work, we just try and make the best atmosphere that we can for our team and for broadcast. And it's been really interesting, but a really, really challenging and fun time right now.
Yeah. I mean, not to get too overly sappy, but I always love kind of how, especially over the past year, how the game press teams at these professional sports franchises from across the world are working together. Like, the team at Real Salt Lake is putting on the home show that you guys would love to have if you were able to be there. So I wonder what it's like. Can you take us behind the scenes of the workflow of what you need to do both before and what's going on during a match? Christian from our team in one of our other on the pitch interviews spoke with Stacey Taggart over at Real Salt Lake, who you are working very, very closely with. What's it like working with Stacey and her crew, and what do you need to do in order to prepare them to put on a Vancouver home game?
Yeah, so the process is before the game obviously comes in, we're sending them all the scripting. So run a show, LED rotation, competition timelines ahead of time, similar to what we do, at BC Place when we're back here. So we'll send them all that stuff and all the assets through our file transfer site where Stacey can pull, and basically she'll send that out to be our voice between the different teams and the operations teams over there. And we really try to make it as organized and straightforward for her team as possible. But, kind of going back to that idea of that MLS presentation family, we work with Morgan Lenz and Eric Alley in Portland, and now we get to work with Stacey Taggart and obviously Chidsey, I guess he's named in Salt Lake, and just incredibly awesome people. Like Salt Lake, apart from just game presentation, even the operations side, the first team side, we talk about it daily on our calls with internally, but just basically the hospitality they give us and the service is just top notch. They're just such great people, and Stacey is such a treat to work with. And she's putting out some of the fires that we would be having at BC Place as well. Like right. Partners needing some last minute additions or cleaning up some content, and she's always, no problem, like we'll make it work. And it's just been such a pleasure for sure.
So one of the huge things that we've been talking about to all the different teams, and one of the things that generates the most interest when you're talking about producing live events in a stadium where you can't have any fans or a minimal amount of fans, is what are you doing with artificial crowd noise? Now, what we heard from Stacey, and this is an interesting difference between you guys, is that they're not doing artificial crowd sound for their home games, but you guys want to. So what is that like? How have you prepared them for that? And, why was that so important for you guys to have as part of your games?
Totally. So obviously Salt Lake does have fans right now, very limited number of fans. So they obviously get to lend themselves to not needing artificial crowd noise and having some of their supporters there and having their fans there cheering them on. But for the biggest things for us was we wanted to create avenues where our club is connecting with our fans wherever we were. So really what these crowd noises are is that we basically pulled audio from BC Place, and cut it out and kind of screwed it around and sent it out to Salt Lake. And we just are trying to use our chance to really connect with our supporter groups, our fans. So, anything from goal kicks where we have kind of our rituals, or corner kicks for opposing teams, same with the goal kicks. They're feeling like they're in, kind of like, getting them all scrambled over there and having them connected to kind of our moments here. And that was really the biggest thing for us. It's really having that connection with our fans, and at the same time having our players and our personnel over there kind of make it feel like if you hear the Whitecaps chants, it's bigger than just what's happening on the pitch. You're doing it for our fan base and our club. And the boys have been putting out a great product so far, and there's only up from here. I'm really excited to see where we're going from here.
Sure. We'd love to talk to you about the content. How has it evolved? What are you building? What are you sending Stacey and her team to play out on the video board? Like you said, they've got some fans, so they can build some of their traditional fan activation kind of things. When you're thinking about your team being displaced, probably building a show largely for the players, to make them feel good. So what does that content look like? What is some of the video that you're actually building?
Yeah, so we are using a lot of our priority match window pieces. So our intro video, our opening sting, those are pieces that we're going to run when the players are actually there. Obviously, without fans in our building, it doesn't really make sense to run outside of that window, but we really try and build that atmosphere just like we do in our own stadium, playing our intro video, playing our opening sting. We have a kid captain chant, which we use. And it's kind of a compilation of our BC Children's Hospital kids that we honor each match. And they kind of sent in their own, Whitecaps chant, and we put it all together and we play it before the match. And again, it's building this sense for the team that we're rooting for them, no matter where they are, and trying to build that atmosphere. We also have home animations. So we have pieces that we're running throughout the whole game, where it's just imagery of, Vancouver and Canada, pieces across our East Van Cross, which is pretty popular here, our Lionsgate Bridge, one of our most famous bridges, just so they can, again, feel that connection to home. And we're just really trying to build a sense of community no matter where they are with our fan base. That's kind of really our big objective.
Sure. I'm wondering for you personally, what some of the challenges are. I mean, like you said, this is a new season, but this is really not a new challenge for you. This has basically been going on for more than a year. You had the bubble last year when things finally kicked back in. You mentioned you played in Portland. So like I said, new season, but not new problems. How challenging is it? Like you said, you're bringing Vancouver to them so that it's to kind of deal with maybe that little bit of like homesickness of it. But how challenging is it for you and for the people that you work with to be at such a distance from the team when you're so used to being such an ingrained part of the organization?
Totally. I think that is a big challenge. The big challenge is connecting our fans and our supporters and kind of our presentation out here to our team down there. And also at the same time, our partners, we just really want to give them the recognition that they can get in our stadium and a different stadium. So, we're trying to add different avenues that we can offer them in terms of LED signage or video board signage. And that's really the biggest challenge, is how we can, elevate our experience down there without obviously having the complete control down here. And like I've mentioned, Stacey and the team down there have been so accommodating for any last minute requests. And that's really helped us, really build that connection for our fans and our partners and our supporters, updating new audio when they come in from different supporters or people that really want to be included on it. And we can't thank them enough really for all that they've been able to do for us.
Yeah. In addition to the team at Real Salt Lake, who are some members of your crew that you feel really deserve a shout out? Like I said, not only for this year, but helping keep your game press side of the house doing some really cool stuff despite the complete oddities of the past 12 to 13 months.
Yeah, no, totally. I think one of the biggest shout outs is obviously apart from our game presentation team and Stacey, like I've alluded to, but it's really the personnel down there that are kind of with our team as well. Our first team, our comms team, those people down there have given up. They're away from their families, they're away from their homes, and it's really tough. I'm obviously super privileged to be able to work from home and connect digitally through different clubs. But, major shout out to people that are down there and everyone that's really making it work, from the RSL team to our team, to the MLS, obviously trying to to help us as much as we can. But I don't think there's enough people we can thank for making this process as seamlessly as it is. And there are some incredibly gifted folks and from both clubs that are making it work. And we just got to keep on winning. And I think whenever time comes that we come back to our stadium, and obviously we're kind of at the mercy of health restrictions over here, but whenever it does time come, we really just want to put out an amazing product for our fans, and we miss them. And we really just can't wait to get back at BC Place. And in the meantime, are just thankful for all the opportunities that we've been given to work with Salt Lake over there.
I gotta imagine you miss sitting in a control room.
Oh man, I miss it. I miss just seeing,
Does Stacy let you like zoom in on like the control, like
no,
Zoom call in the control room while the show's going on or something?
No, and maybe that's a request I ask her, just to have that sense of it again. But I think one of the best things about game presentation, specifically for me, is I grew up in Van. I was a Whitecaps fan. We played out of Swangard Stadium since I was a little boy. I was a ball boy.
Cool.
And one of the best thing about game pres is that I love being able to make people enjoy the game as much as I do, and especially young kids. Seeing them happy at our games, and seeing the energy that comes out that we can give them. It's something that is super hard to find anywhere else. And I think not being able to have that here is a bit tough. But like I mentioned, all the things that we can do to try and make that connection with our fans, and through different events or through game presentation specifically, is we're really trying to accomplish here.
Yeah, well, Jeremy, we really appreciate you taking the time, and we definitely send you major kudos. We know it's been a challenging year, to say the least, but you and your group are doing a fantastic job of continuing to build really engaging content and make really great game presentation shows. And congrats on that. Hopefully we can get you back into BC Place very soon. Fingers crossed for that. But in the meantime, we really appreciate you taking the time to talk about what this has all been like for you. Thanks for taking it.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much for having me, Brandon.
All right. He's Jeremy Benjamin. He's with Vancouver Whitecaps FC, handling their game presentation side with the team over at Real Salt Lake. Really appreciate him joining us. If you want to hear more from some of the other things that are going on across Major League Soccer in our On the Pitch series, you could do so now over at our YouTube channel, and certainly at sportsvideo.org.